Caution flags have kept 30 cars on the lead lap. Here's Ricky Rudd. Listen.
Okay, buddy, hang on to what you got. Nobody clear behind you. There you go. Nice and easy. It just blew up big time, boys.
Big cloud of smoke, but apparently not much liquid debris down in turns 3 and 4. No speedy dry put down, but look at that. Smoke stream. Brian Vickers, your leader. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jarrett, Kevin Harvick. The top 5. Looks like the top 10 did not pit.
Well, we had 15 cars that stayed out, 15 cars that made a pit stop. But remember, everyone that was on the lead lap, they were on pit road about lap 290, all the exception of Casey Kane in the 9. Not that many laps ago.
Chris and Jeff, usually in this race we see a lot of engine problems in the last 100 miles. Here we're seeing them start in the last 150 miles of this race.
So a test of endurance, Jeff Hammond has been down to his cutaway car and he pulled something out of it. Will this help explain?
Well, we're going to talk about maybe some of the problems these guys are having, like with the rocker arms. A lot of times we see the speed we're carrying around here at this racetrack, and I'm going to go back to Atlanta, a place where we sustain a lot of RPM. Here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, we don't normally see that, but this is a new racetrack. A lot of the guys are carrying more speed through the corners. We talk about the fact that we have the same gear rule for a lot of these teams, but it is these cycles that get you in trouble. Now, this is a valve spring. What happens is when it hits a certain number of cycles as well as harmonics, sometimes it will actually fracture these little coils, and that's what usually starts triggering the problem with dropping a valve, and you've got to be careful about that. Now, we talk about we're getting close to having the 500-mile range. Well, at Atlanta, we had 3 guys who had trouble with engines in the last 50 laps. That was only 500 miles, Chris.
Now, is there an effect? We've had, what, 2 of the first 4 hours of this race have been run under caution. Does that lighten the strain a little bit?
No, I think it's that makes it worse, because when you're going back up through the gears, really hammering everything, it abuses this stuff, I think, that much more. And DW, you know that if you're carrying a lot of speed through the corner, you're having sustained RPMs, and that could be a culprit.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Jeff. I mean, the gear rule is based on last year's speed around this racetrack. And they qualified it about a half a second or more faster this year than they did last year. I'm wondering if the gear for this race now is maybe a little too low.
It easily could be, because you got to take into consideration we didn't have a very smooth racetrack like we do now. We're carrying so much more speed through the corners, and Larry McReynolds talked about as the night progresses, we're going to actually pick up speed. That's going to mean more speed through the corners, more sustained RPM. Again, we may see a lot more attrition before this night's over with.
We did have 18 drivers set speed records here in qualifying and in practice. Meanwhile, tonight, Jeff Gordon, who's led some 48 laps and is currently running second, keeping the heat on his teammate Brian Vickers. Let's listen in to Jeff Gordon in communication on the 2014.
That last one, big lap.
Way too tight, though. Start out loose, I'm too tight now. Loose in 1 and 2.
Should be one more pit stop for everybody. Just hang in there. We'll be able to get fixed up.
Getting set for the restart. Brian Vickers, his teammates, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson will be his wingmen. Then it's Dale Jarrett's Ford, Kevin Harvick's and Scott Riggs in Chevys, Greg Biffle's Ford, Mayfield's Dodge, Sadler and Martin in Fords, the top 10.
See, what I like about Robbie Loomis, we will get you fixed up. He doesn't ask him what he's going to do. He doesn't tell him what to do. He said, we'll get you fixed up.
And even those 15 cars that made that pit stop right there, they still have to make another stop as well as the 15 that stayed out. 89 laps to go.
133 miles left in the Coca-Cola 600 as Brian Vickers hauls them around.
About 250 laps ago, we saw Hendrick cars at the front, and there they are, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Kevin Harvick right there in 5th place, and he gets some awfully good restarts tonight. I've been watching him, and every restart he is all over the back of the cars in front of him.
We talked about him a while ago. Look at old DJ, Dale Jarrett, that 88 UPS car back there lurking in 4th, working with crew chief Bill Wilburn for only the 2nd week. They got it happening here at Lowe's.
That's got to make Dale Jarrett feel really good. You know, that's when a change is good. You make a change, you get a good result. That's a good change. We've talked so much about Dale Jr. and his situation, but here's DJ. He takes on Mike Ford quits, and they bring on another guy, and look what it's done for him.
Boy, Jarrett is all over Jimmy Johnson for 3rd place.
Yeah, I mean, in the last 9 Coca-Cola Coca-Cola 600s, he's only had 3 finishes out of the top 10. He knows what it takes to get to the end of this 600-miler.
Man,
oh boy!
I'll tell you, I'm watching that. Carl Edwards is pushing that 9 car.
Tony Stewart trying to move past on the outside.
I see now why Tommy Baldwin left Casey Kane out there a while ago. This car, the 9 car, is not very good in traffic. It was good leading.
Well, it just seems it's been that way with a lot of cars, Larry. It's like they're so loose when other cars are around them, but when they get out front, that looseness doesn't bother them.
A look at the pack from the Goodyear airship. Travel with peace of mind on Goodyear's new Assurance tires. Brightly lit Lowe's Motor Speedway, the first super speedway to go under the lights in NASCAR.
The track's got a lot of firsts. It's the first one I ever heard of being levigated.
Tell you what, though, Brian Vickers in that 25 car, he is checked out. Right now, he's beating his teammates by almost 2/10 a lap. I'm going to tell you another car that has hung out on the lead lap all night long. See Jeff Green in the 43 car racing with Carl Edwards in the 99. Jeff Green, the 43 group, they've just been steady all night long.
Good battle there.
Joe Nemechek in the 01 car, he got the free pass back on lap 121. Right now, he's in the 22nd position.
This is not a good night to have a car that's good on a long run, Larry.
We've had no long runs.
Not a good night.
Elliott Sadler on the move back through. Coming from 9th toward 8th if he gets past the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield.
And old Kenny Schrader, he's hung right in there all night long.
Now there's there's 3 veteran open wheelers.
Got that right.
And right now he's battling Tony Stewart for the 15th position, and we talked about it earlier in the show. Kenny is celebrating his 50th birthday today.
Well, I got to do this. I got to wish Walter Gladden. He's 90 years old. He says he raced with me. I don't believe it, but
You're not
90 years old today, but I'm going to wish him a happy birthday anyway.
And you know what? Tomorrow's Memorial Day. I'm sure Kenny Schrader will be racing somewhere tomorrow.
No doubt.
Won the ARCA race up at Toledo, Ohio last Sunday.
Look at the lead that Brian Vickers has opened up since this restart. He's got a full second and then some over Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson.
Well, it's just like it started. You got Vickers leading, you got Gordon second, and you got Jimmy Johnson third. Those 3 Hendrick cars have come back to the front and are walking the dog.
And Matt Yoakum, he's the only car right now running in the 29-second bracket.
And Larry Mack, you can sum it up simply as Brian told Lance McGrew. I'll tell you, clean air is extremely nice.
And I think we talked about it a while ago. One more pit stop for everyone to get them to the end of this race. That's why that pit stop will be so important to get your man out front.
Bill Elliott, Joe Nemechek. Oh, hang on, Joe. 20th place at stake here. Jeff Green in the 43, Mike Bliss in the 0, Ryan Newman.
And there's Bill Elliott, not too long ago, was leading this race. Now he's fighting to hang on to 20th place.
Folks, like we said at the top of the show, you're going to see a lot of different leaders, but you won't see any one leader for all that long.
And look at an underdog there, Kevin LePage in the 37 car. He's still on the lead lap up there fighting with Ryan Newman and Mike Bliss. Mike Wallace in the 4, the white car there.
Now, it's not that Kevin is such an underdog. I mean, he is, but he really is sponsored by the Underdog cartoon.
Yes, sir. Last week and this week.
Wonder if his crew chief is Rick Raff.
Well, his wife may not be Sweet Polly Thoroughbred, but I know his wife Donna is up on top of the grandstand spotting for him.
Kevin Harvick, Dale Jarrett, 4th place.
And that's purebred, not thoroughbred. Neil Goldberg corrects me in my ear.
Purebred.
Well, that's kind of like chameleon, you know?
Purebred, thoroughbred, loaf of bread. All right? Dick Burton.
Well, Dale Jarrett has hung around in the top 5 all night, Mike. And you wonder about crew chiefs and what a difference they can make. Bill Wilburn started at this team on
weekend. Same story in practice. The adjustments that they made the car faster. So DJ took to the green flag tonight with a car that was already good, and it has stayed in the top 5 or 6 all night. Crew chief and driver are communicating. DJ is back.
Hang in there. We'll make us a pressure adjustment for that last stop.
Like you said, Darrell, that's what you want to hear. We'll make it better.
Roger that.
Brian Vickers leads his teammates, Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, with 76 laps to go.